Okay, I like to run a pretty tight ship here, as everyone who knows me knows. And so, even just starting 1 minute after the hour starts to turn me into a ball of anxiety. So, I want to make the most of your time because we are going to have an amazing time tonight. We have 9 fantastic future PR practitioners making their public relations debut, their entrance into the industry. And I'm so excited for you to have a chance to hear their presentation tonight. First, I'd really love to thank the client who is here. So we have Brent Wakefield from Meals on Wheels. We have Antoinette Middleton, and I lost, there's Amy and Gina. And then we have the idea guy, Kevin. Am I missing anything? Anyone else from my Meals on Wheels family?
I think you got us.
I
Yeah.
think I got you
And
all.
Jenna as well. I'm here.
Oh,
Oh,
Jenna's here too. Oh, yay, Jenna.
excellent.
Glad you're here.
Hiding with the the little secret name there and the black square. So that's fantastic. Meals on Wheels is such a great organization, period. But it's a really wonderful way to allow these brand new practitioners an opportunity to learn how to practice their craft, because we're sending them out into the world knowing that they can use their public relations skills for good. And so I'm so excited to be able to share them with you, to have so many of you here to celebrate them. This is a key part of how we do our Capstone campaigns class at San Diego State University. And you know what, I really don't want to take up much more time here, and I just might as well turn it on over to the team. And so without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Aubrey Martin, who is our Meals on Wheels team leader. Take it away, Aubrey.
Hello, everyone. As Dr. Sweetser said, my name is Aubrey Martin, and this semester I worked as the team lead for our Capstone project. We had the opportunity to work with Meals on Wheels, a nonprofit that delivers food and friendship to seniors through 4 service centers across San Diego County. When coronavirus hit, we went home, we went online, and we worked together to keep at-risk populations safe. During this time, Meals on Wheels saw a 40% increase in demand for meals. With over 2,000 volunteers across San Diego County, these volunteers and Meals on Wheels rose to the challenge to deliver meals to everyone in the community. Volunteers tirelessly delivered meals and socially distanced company to seniors who have felt isolated during such a hard time. When we were asked to help Meals on Wheels show their volunteers just how much they we were honored. It took a lot of creative thinking to find exciting ways to show volunteers how much their effort means, especially when they ask for nothing in return. But we are proud of what we've done, and we can't wait to show it to you.
Hi, I'm Taylor Peterson, the Messaging and Graphics team lead. When looking into our secondary research, we wanted to know why volunteers volunteer. And what we found was that the #1 reason was shared values. They want to have shared values with who they're volunteering with. We also found that they want to have to feel a sense of importance, have a positive outlook after volunteering, feeling like they're supporting others and gaining a new understanding after volunteering.
Hi, my name is Jessica Ramirez, and I was the research lead for our campaign. So following our secondary research, we conducted quantitative and qualitative research. Our questions stem from what we learned about how volunteering has changed during COVID-19 and what motivates them to stay involved. Our quantitative survey was used to establish a baseline of knowledge, attitude, and behavior for Meals on Wheels volunteers. In our survey, we measured 5 different constructs on a 5-point scale. The first one being knowledge, which measured the volunteers' understanding of their role at Meals on Wheels. The diversity scale measured the volunteers' sense of belonging within the organization. Our word of mouth scale measured their willingness to share their experiences. And the last 2 focused on relationships. Reciprocity looked at the volunteers' sense of appreciation, and then relationship nurturing looked at the sense of recognition for their efforts from Meals on Wheels. You can see where the volunteers scored on each of the 5 scales above. Notably, volunteers indicated that they had a high understanding of their role within the organization and feel like they belong at Meals on Wheels. This means that Meals on Wheels is doing a great job at fostering a community where their volunteers feel like they belong. Despite this positive sentiment toward Meals on Wheels, we did find that volunteers indicated they felt they weren't being thanked enough for their efforts. And we also learned that in 2018, Meals on Wheels lost more volunteers than they were able to gain through the months of September through November. So our secondary research and our survey data brought us to the notion that volunteer sense of appreciation and belonging is extremely important. Meals on Wheels would not be able to operate at this level without their large volunteer network. Two other important key findings were that Meals on Wheels volunteers prefer to be recognized in subtle ways, and they are more than willing to share their experiences with friends and family.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia, and for our qualitative research, we spoke to 6 different people, including people within the military community, college-aged volunteers, a current Meals on Wheels volunteer, and a professional that's currently working from home. And what we found was, first of all, social volunteering is very important. And for people volunteering, they're usually doing it with their friends and family, not really alone. And this is how they usually find opportunities to volunteer. And the second thing we found is that it's important for people to support something that's larger than themselves. And we found this a lot in our military community, where people are looking for ways to give beyond the base, whether they're retired or currently serving. And we also found out that because of growing corporate social responsibility, companies are constantly looking for ways to not only connect their employees, but to also boost social and cultural morale. And lastly, a simple thank you goes such a long way. Everyone we spoke to mentioned how a cost-free gesture was worth so much more than a flashy display of appreciation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mallory Tyler, and I was part of the research, logistics, and messaging and graphics team for this campaign. Our research has driven us to come to the conclusions of this SWOT analysis, which is an analysis of the organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are both internal to the organization, while opportunities and threats are both external. Some strengths are that Meals on Wheels is part of a larger international organization, which increases recognition, as well as you are currently working with an external public relations firm. Some weaknesses are directly tied to competitors in the affordability as well as nutritional content of the meals delivered to clients. Opportunities are in the opportunity to reach out to military personnel as well as their families to volunteer here in San Diego. And some threats are the current shift in volunteer availability due to the global pandemic, as well as South County specifically has insufficient volunteers. Our research has also driven us to the conclusion of this problem statement. Meals on Wheels San Diego has more than 2,000 volunteers serving 3,000 seniors every year. Meals on Wheels volunteers save the organization $2 million each year just by volunteering. They rely on their volunteers to deliver meals to clients and financially would not be able to do so without them.
In the second step of the RPI process, or our campaign process, is planning. Our planning is a direct result of our research.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isabel Serenas. I was the team's HR manager. So as stated, based in our research phase, we created overarching goals to guide us through this campaign. The first is to express volunteer appreciation, and the second is to expand upon Meals on Wheels volunteer network. And so we based those off of 2 theories. The first being corporate social responsibility theory, which states organizations have a responsibility to interact ethically within their communities. And the second being 2-step flow theory, stating that publics get their information from opinion leaders, which in turn interpret the media.
Our publics for our campaign are Meals on Wheels volunteers who are active publics and they're actively volunteering with Meals on Wheels, the military community and local companies. And the military community and local companies are aware volunteers, meaning they're aware of Meals on Wheels, but might not necessarily be volunteering. Although they do have members who are active and are volunteering, and they also have members who are latent who might not know about Meals on Wheels.
So taking all of that into consideration, we created more concrete objectives to help us achieve our goals step by step throughout this campaign.
My name is Julian Dupre, and I was the logistics lead for our campaign. And our first objective was to maintain high levels of volunteer sense of belonging through December with the organization. And we found this objective by looking at the diversity, inclusion, and belonging scale in our research. Our second objective is to maintain the number of household participation through December. And we crafted this objective by looking at the 14% of volunteers who said that they had kids and the 80% of those respondents who said that they bring their kids with them on their routes.
Our third objective is to increase volunteers' sense of appreciation from Meals on Wheels by 2% by December. And we got this number by looking at our reciprocity scale from our pre-campaign survey. Our final objective is to increase the number of volunteers by 25 people by December. And we got this number by looking at the number of volunteers who came, who were a part of Meals on Wheels from the summer months before our campaign started.
Hi, my name is Jeffrey Wyndham. I was a member of the logistics and messaging teams for the campaign. And looking at the messaging, we want to be sure to maintain the company culture that our longstanding volunteers know and love, while still personalizing to engage new target publics. To expand our military volunteer base, we want to be sure to appeal to their unique position and help them create a family through service. As they're learning the streets on their routes, they're going to be finding their way in a new community. To show our success responding to COVID-19, we should continue promoting things like contactless delivery, which is limiting exposure for our at-risk patients, while still keeping the heart of the delivery alive with messaging like 6 feet apart, 1 meal closer. Volunteer recognition is at the center of our campaign, and we want the community to recognize our volunteers as role models and tell them, you go the extra mile for our clients, you're the engine that drives this organization. Corporate social responsibility messaging is about helping local companies understand that by partnering with Meals on Wheels, they're promoting better ethics within their organization, and San Diegans care about helping and serving each other.
Driven by our research and guided by our objectives and our messaging, we were able to craft the following tactics for implementation that we thought would best serve the overall goals of our campaign.
First, the biweekly hangout is a cost-free way to engage our favorite volunteers and any new publics. What we did was create a space on Zoom video conferencing. And in the first installment, we continued introducing new CEO Brent Wakefield, who you can see speaking in the top left-hand corner there. He had the opportunity to answer some personal questions and provide a little insight into how his career path led him to the top of Meals on Wheels and where he's going to be taking the organization from there.
Carpool Karaoke was an initiative to increase volunteer interaction with Meals on Wheels social media channels, as well as to show volunteer appreciation. Our team curated a family-friendly Spotify playlist, which was then distributed to volunteers. Volunteers were then encouraged to listen to this playlist while on their routes and then record short videos of themselves singing along karaoke style to any of the songs. They were then encouraged to publish those videos to their personal social media accounts and then had the opportunity to be featured on the Meals on Wheels social media accounts.
Our pumpkin painting tactic was a great way for us to show our volunteers some recognition while also giving them an opportunity to give back to the clients that they love. We made 100 fall theme baskets that were given to each distribution center that contained a miniature pumpkin, paints, brushes, and other kind of treats for volunteers to enjoy a night with their family painting. We then encouraged our volunteers to take the painted pumpkins with them on their next route and to drop them off on the porch of their favorite client.
Hi everyone, my name is Dan McDermott and I was involved with the messaging and graphics for our campaign. Our car bingo was a tactic designed to increase household participation. So our messaging and graphics team created seasonal Meals on Wheels branded bingo cards. We had these cards include a thank you message towards our parent volunteers, thanking them for their service to the community and for being great role models to our youth. We had these cards printed, laminated, and distributed and made available for pickup at the Meals on Wheels Metro Service Center location.
We also implemented volunteer shoutouts on Instagram and Twitter, where we asked volunteers to introduce themselves and share their favorite part about volunteering. And we did this to increase their sense of belonging as well as their sense of appreciation and show the public what makes our volunteers passionate as well as hopefully inspire them to do the same.
In order to mobilize existing communities in San Diego and to tap into some of the latent publics that are here available for us, our team conducted thorough research and organized outreach via email to a variety of local organizations, including athletic teams, local church and youth groups, military spouse organizations, and small businesses that may be working from home, urging their involvement in those corporate social responsibility initiatives. Our goal was to increase our overall volunteer base, and we received several responses and constructive feedback from a variety of these contacts.
Continuing volunteer appreciation, we video for Meals on Wheels. We ended up getting to talk to a few of their clients about their experiences with volunteers itself and compiled those highlights, those interviews into a 3-minute video that we emailed to volunteers and posted on social media. And that video also did particularly well on Meals on Wheels Instagram account.
Lastly, we pitched our pumpkin painting tactic to several media outlets and journalists. And in addition to an upcoming piece from the San Diego Union Tribune, we were able to receive media coverage from Drew Schlossberg's Spotlight on the Community show. Drew has been a key figure in the community for years now, highlighting local nonprofits that are doing good in San Diego. Not only was this a great opportunity for Brent to get himself out there, but Brent had already established a rapport with Drew on the show when he was a part of Serving Seniors, which led to a great interview.
To evaluate the success of our campaign, we conducted a quantitative survey. This was used to determine whether we had met our objectives following the implementation of our tactics. The 5 scales we used in the pre-campaign survey were measured again. Our data indicated that we successfully increased the number of volunteers by 2.5%, or 55 new volunteers from the months of October to November 2020. We were able to accomplish this during a time of year when recruitment levels are often low. Another one of our objectives was to maintain that social aspect of having kids volunteer with their parents and join them on their routes. Our post-campaign survey showed that there was a 5 household difference or decrease from our pre-campaign survey. However, we still see this as an opportunity for Meals on Wheels to continue encouraging household participation. Another one of our objectives was to increase that volunteer sense of appreciation, which we were able to do by 2.63%. And finally, we not only were able to maintain, but increase the volunteer level of belonging. But as you may recall, volunteer sense of belonging was already generally on a moderately high level when we started our campaign, so we were just able to help continue pushing that needle forward.
Our recommendations for Meals on Wheels moving forward is to continue using social media to appreciate volunteers, and this can be done through continuing the volunteer shoutouts on social media. Another recommendation is to continue building and highlighting relationships within the San Diego community. This again can be done through the use of the volunteer shoutouts, but also the continuation of the biweekly hangouts. Another recommendation is a drive-in movie night, and this drive-in movie night can be done at the South Bay Drive-In Theater and would be a great way for Meals on Wheels to appreciate their volunteers. Finally, we have continuing to track volunteer numbers. As you saw in our research, in 2018, Meals on Wheels had the numbers of volunteers who had come and left the organization, and we think having these numbers would be helpful in knowing when to increase the volunteer outreach.
Well, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time today to hear about our work with Meals on Wheels. It was such an honor to work with an organization of volunteers that give back so selflessly to San Diego. I also want to thank Brent, Gina, Amy, Jenna, and everyone else who has contributed to our campaign. The success came from a group of people who have worked incredibly hard, and I believe that everyone who's worked on this project is going to make an incredible future practitioner. I had the privilege of not only growing myself from this, but watching my peers of 4 years grow into public relations professionals that are going to rock the world. With that being said, I thank you again for your time, and we're ready for any questions you might have.